Hey everybody, this is Glidercat and it's time to play. Today we're going to take a first look at a factory automation game called Farlight Explorers. It was developed by a single developer back in 2019, and while it has a few bugs and rough edges, I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I think it's a hidden gem that many gamers may have overlooked. So I wanted to get this video together and just get it on your radar. Now, I have a short Let's Play series of Farlight Explorers that will post to the Glidercat channel a day or two after this video posts. So look for that if you'd like to see more of the actual gameplay. The developer granted my request for a press key, and my thanks goes out to him for that. Now, I have about 40 hours of playtime in the game so far as I record this video, and I'm nowhere near being finished. So there is a lot of gameplay in this game. Now, Farlight Explorers reminds me of like a very early version of a game like Satisfactory. Like if Satisfactory didn't exist and we were in the early days of Factorio, I could see Farlight Explorers kind of coming along and being like this innovative 3D kind of factory automation game. So let's get started with our first look by watching the game trailer, and then we'll come back and talk a lot more about the gameplay and kind of how it plays. Before we do, a quick shout out to Glidercat channel members and patrons. I really appreciate your support. Thank you very, very much. If others would like to help support this content, there are links to do so in the description, so check those out. And if you enjoy this video, please help the channel out by giving it a like. I'd really appreciate that. And with that, here we go with the trailer for Farlight Explorers. Okay, that was the trailer. And when you start a new game of Farlight Explorers, you're given a few choices of game mode. These range from completely peaceful, where you don't need to worry about oxygen, food, or mining minerals or materials at all, and there's no enemies to worry about, so you just go about building bases at your leisure, kind of crafting and building. And then you've got classic mode on the other side of the spectrum, which is how I played. Now, classic mode has all the survival, mining, and enemies present. And it's pretty much what you'd expect the default settings to be for a game like this. After picking your preferred game mode, you next pick the galaxy status. These are your starting scenarios, and they're almost like chapters of a story. At the top of the list is First Explorer, and that's the one I'm currently playing. In this scenario, you pick a planet to start out on, and then you work your way towards building a singularity gate at the center of the galaxy. And then once you've done that, that'll allow you to kind of move on in the story. The next scenario in the list, First Colonist, is like a shortcut where the singularity gate has already been built, and now you set out to build your first colony. And then the last scenario is Born in the Galaxy, and that takes place even later. Your goal here is, again, to build a colony, but then you're going to deal with an unspecified galaxy crisis. I don't know what that could be. I have no idea. I haven't gotten to that or played this scenario, but it sounds kind of interesting. It'd be interesting to see what that is. As I mentioned, I started playing out on the first scenario, and I haven't yet gotten to the point where I can build the singularity gate yet. Once I'm able to build it, I'm guessing it will just be as if I started playing that second scenario. So you can see how it's kind of like chapters where you want to start in the game. Like I said, I chose to start from the very beginning. And once you pick your game mode and your galaxy status, you're presented with a map of the galaxy and then you pick which star system and which planet that you want to start on. Planets seem to come in about 4 different types, and to get started, you need to pick one with coal, iron, and copper on it. If you choose to start out on a planet without those ores, you may find it impossible to leave that planet, as you're going to need those materials in order to build a spaceship. Once you pick your first planet, you're presented with some guidance, and then you're off on your own to build your base and work towards building a spaceship. Early on, some tutorial screens will pop up periodically that provide you with additional guidance as you play. It's just in the beginning, I don't know, maybe the first 20 minutes of play. They pop up somewhat randomly, and I often found them to be somewhat intrusive. They're not triggered on doing things, they just seem to pop up. So I just dismissed a bunch of them as soon as they popped up, just to get them out of the way. And you can always reference all of that tutorial content, everything that pops up, anytime within your inventory menu. And the tutorial pages do provide a lot of good information to help you as you play, so it's nice having that in the game, just built in. Getting started, you'll quickly find a laser drill in a nearby drop pod, and then start mining ore manually, much like you do at the start of pretty much every factory automation game, it seems. There are enemies that will spawn from time to time, and you can take them out with either your mining laser, it's pretty quick, or by placing and powering defense turrets. The enemies aren't, a huge challenge, but they will throw like acid at you. You will take damage, and they can destroy your equipment. The other big threat you're going to have are asteroids or meteor showers that hit periodically. Again, you can take those out with your mining laser if you're quick, or you're probably going to want to use defense turrets and place those strategically around your base to prevent things from getting destroyed by the meteors that will periodically, it's not a ton, but periodically there'll be a meteor shower. Most of the time it'll miss your base, but occasionally they will take out some key part of your base if you don't have defenses set up. Now, like with other games of this type, after a bit of mining materials by hand, you're quickly going to set out to automate all of that mining and material production. There is a tech tree where you'll be unlocking all kinds of boosts to your productivity. There's boosts for, reducing the energy usage, increasing the mining rate, all kinds of stuff like that. But most importantly, you're going to need to unlock the spaceport and the spaceship from the tech tree, as those are going to allow you to leave your starting planet in search of new resources that you're going to need. And the spaceship is both cool and clunky at the same time, in my opinion. You can build one from scratch using parts, or you can build a complete ship all at once using the single template that the game provides. So you've got an option there. I chose to go with the latter option, and you can see the spaceship here. It's kind of a big thing. Kind of a big clunky thing here, but it is very functional. Before you can launch it, though, you need to fill it with fuel, water, and wire up electricity. Now, I love the idea of having to run pipes to your spaceship to fuel it. I think that part is kind of cool and somewhat realistic. The clunky part is just that it can be a bit tricky to line those pipes up correctly, especially after first landing on a new planet. Now, once you have a spaceport on each planet, it gets super easy and it's not a big deal. But refueling after just landing on a new planet where you haven't had a chance to place a spaceport can be a real challenge. Now, it can be done. It's just a little tricky, and a lot of players will likely get frustrated with this process. So it's probably a good time also here to mention that the game does feel a bit fragile. Now, I've had several crashes as I played, but the autosaves prevented me from losing any work. For me, the game would only crash after about an hour or two of continuous playtime, so it wasn't too big of a deal. It wasn't like it was crashing every 5 minutes and I found myself, waiting to reload saves. It wasn't anything like that. And I didn't experience any lags or other strangeness as I was playing, so it was just kind of an annoyance every once in a while where the game would crash and I'd have to start it up again. As I mentioned earlier, I have a short Let's Play series featuring Farlight explorers that will post shortly after this first look video. So you can watch pretty much all of my gameplay in that series if you like. Before playing, I did read reports of bugs that other players experienced, and I set out to avoid them as I played. Now, in particular, I read about people having problems with the conveyor belts if they didn't put foundations underneath them. So I always built everything on top of foundations in my playthrough, and I didn't create long conveyor belt runs or complex belt setups. That seemed to be where some of the reported bugs that I read about came from. And with that approach that I took, aside from the occasional crash, which I've already mentioned, I really didn't experience any issues while playing. I didn't really have any bugs or any kind of weirdness. It's important to note, however, that the developer of Farlight Explorers has moved on to another game, and it doesn't appear that this game is still being supported, so that's just something you need to keep in mind if you're going to consider picking this up. If you have problems, you might be on your own. Now, I feature a lot of factory automation games on the Glidercat channel. Subscribers will be well aware of that. And Farlight Explorers is not the first game that I would recommend, but I do think that it's worth checking out if you like what you see in this first look video and in the Let's Play series that's going to follow. Like I said, to me, it feels like a very early version of Satisfactory. I enjoyed having the new setting to play in and some of the things that are unique to this game. If you enjoy playing a variety of games within this genre, I would definitely give Farlight Explorers a look. Like I said, I genuinely had a good time playing, and I'm not even, through the first little scenario. I haven't built that singularity gate. And with that, I guess we'll wrap up this first look video of Farlight Explorers. I hope you like it and found it interesting. Again, I think it's kind of a hidden gem of a game for people who are, deep fans of the factory automation genre, like myself. I enjoy playing a variety of games, so I'm glad that I discovered this one. I think it was actually a viewer who mentioned this game to me in comments long ago, and I've had it in my library for quite a while, and I finally got around to doing it, so I'm happy to get it on your radar. If you'd like to learn about many other cool games, be sure to check out my first look playlist. There's a link to that in the description, and it's absolutely loaded with cool games to check out. Highly recommend checking out that first look playlist. If you enjoy this video, please do give it a like. That helps my tiny channel grow, and I definitely appreciate it. And with that, this is Glidercat signing off, saying thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.